Hey there, Plant Girl here. I am out in my yard today. I'm going to be going around to all the places that I can remember that I had spring flowering bulbs, corms, tubers planted, and I'm going to be lifting them today to put into storage. I'm now about a week and a half past my average first frost for the season. We haven't had frost yet, but I know it's coming, and so I want to get these plants lifted and put into their winter storage before they freeze, because these summer flowering bulbs, tubers, corms, they can't survive the freezing that we get here in Saskatchewan, Canada. So I'm just going to be going around and lifting them and dealing with them as I normally do, trying to remember where I put them all. And if you want more detailed instructions on how to lift your summer flowering bulbs, corms, tubers, like for your begonias, your dahlias, your cannas, I think I have some for Ranunculus and Acidanthera, Crocosmia. That's what I'm going to be lifting today, and I'll link videos with more detailed instructions for each of those down in the description down below. So if you're looking for something with a little more detail, that's where you'll find it. For today, I just have brought my wagon out with me, and I've brought some buckets so I can lift each of the different varieties and put them into buckets so I keep them straight. Some of them will look the same once I get them out of the ground. And I have some gloves and something to dig with, and I brought out some labels. A lot of these will have labels in the pots. I've just tucked them in the side for the exact variety, but if I don't have anything, I can label it, at least with a generic label if needed, so that I'll know what it is next spring when I'm trying to get these lifted and woken up. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, and I thought I'd bring you along for it. So I'm just starting here. These pots that are sitting here were at my front door all summer, and I've just brought them around. I've put out some gourds and pumpkins and things for a little bit more of an autumn display. But in here I have a Begonia cream begonia. So I want to be able to save that begonia and hopefully save the corm for next year. So I'm just going to kind of dig around in here, try and lift it out without damaging the corm. I'm not too worried about the other plants that are in here, but I would like to get this lifted. Hopefully, I think this has a corm on it, or a tuber, I guess. Oh, this might be a rooted begonia. Oh darn, it is. So I wasn't sure about that when I was hoping to lift this. So this begonia, now I've destroyed most of them, but it's just grown by root. It doesn't have a corm or rhizome to it. So this isn't one that I can save in the methods that I'll show in the other videos below, and the ways I'll save my other begonias with corms. Now I really like this begonia, and I may cut it back, pot it up, and bring it in the house and see if it survives the winter for me, because I would like to have this for next year. So I'm still going to take it with me here, but I won't be able to put it into winter storage. If it survives, it's going to have to survive under some grow lights or in a bright area of my house with some warmth and heat. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research on that. I've never done that before. So now I'm going to go around to some that I know are tuberous begonias and pull those out. So these pots here along my entranceway to my backyard they all have a begonia that I picked up at a garden center in the late summer on sale. But these should all be varieties that have a tuber in them, and so I want to pull these out and save them for next year. So two of them are this pretty kind of pinky red double flower here. And one is a yellow double, so let's get these pulled out. We'll see how closely things are packed in here. I might wind up taking the sweet potato vine out and everything else and just putting these pots away, but we'll see what we can do here. Oh. Well, I'm sure this was supposed to have a tuber on it, but it doesn't. Well, I don't know if the tuber just rotted off as really wet in there, or if I'm wrong and these aren't tuberous, but we'll add it to my collection of non-tuberous begonias and keep on going here. Well, I was sure these were tuberous begonias, but they're not, so there's another one. So I don't know, do I try and save and overwinter a whole bunch of begonias? Or do I just let them go? Because these are gonna have to be in my house. Well, one more, may as well pull it up. Once again, just fibrous roots on this one. 0 for 4 so far. Okay, well I have some that I've stored from year to year, so I know they are tuberous, so they're next on my list. This one didn't have a tag in it. I wonder where the tag went. Hi, Buster. Okay, so I know these are tuberous begonias because I saved them last year and planted them up. So let me get into this pile of plants here and try and get these out. I can feel the tuber in there. I just can't see it. That's enough though, so let's get rid of, that's the tag for it. Can I still read it? Yeah, okay, so let's put this soil back in there. Set this here. I'm gonna grab some snips and just snip off some of this top growth. I do want to keep some of it to provide some nutrients back into this tuber, but I'll take some of this off because it's just too big. It's going to wind up breaking the stems off the tuber, and then we'll grab the yellow one. So like I said, I still want to leave some of this plant, but there was just that really heavy stem on there, and I'll take the flowers off because we don't want them pulling energy. We want the leaves to be able to send energy back into the tuber now. So that's what I took off. And that's what's left. So I didn't take a whole lot off, just some to take some of the stress off of that tuber. And now I'm gonna get the yellow one that's kind of behind me here. Okay, so down in here, amongst all these impatiens and Dahlia, is this yellow begonia tuber. So can you see in there? See what I'm dealing with, kind of? So here's probably the tag for it. Yep. And I'm gonna just come in kind of far away from the stem and just try and lift it out without damaging that tuber. So somewhere in all that dirt is a tuber. I can feel it. So we'll just take this, we'll also cut off the flowers and some of the heavier bits and put that to the side. There it is. So where's those snips? Obviously we don't need this kind of dead stuff. Get rid of that. Oh, these flowers are so pretty. So there, that's what I took off just to relieve some of that weight. Those could go in water. Well, not bad. They're pretty. And now my tag only says double begonia, so I'm gonna just write yellow on this tag. And where did I set that other tag? And I'm gonna put red on this tag. I'm sure I planted other begonia tubers, just started in these pots this spring. And I don't know if they just died off or were over competed, but I haven't noticed any other begonias all summer. So it seems like I only have 2 now, but that's okay. It's still two to save. And then I'll have to decide what to do with those others. I was sure they were a tuberous type, so I don't know if they're just so young that the tubers are really tiny, and when the soil dries up, there'll be something there, or if they just are fibrous begonia and need to be stored indoors if I'm going to store them. But let's go now. I think I have some Crocosmia in the garden and some Acidanthera. I have a few things, so I'll get the begonias out of the way and we'll go get some more. I have Ranunculus planted in the tops of these rain barrels here, so I have 4 rain barrels, I believe, with the Ranunculus in them, and they started to come back. So that's this darker green plant here, not the Dusty Miller. Really, they flowered and died back this spring, early summer, and now they're coming up again. And so I'm not really sure what the best plan of attack is for them, but I'm thinking any that are sprouting again, I'll just let kind of die back, but I'm going to pull them up. Because they're really a spring blooming corm here, so there it is. And I think there's a couple more in here, or else I just had missed those. I'd pulled some out. Yeah, it looks like there's one here maybe. If I can find it. They're tiny little corms. They're kind of like miniature dahlias, so sometimes if it's a really small one, they're hard to find, which is why you normally want to pull them after they're done flowering. If there was one there, I don't know what happened to it. So let's look on this side. There's one. Has some babies on it. Whoops, dropped them. So you see that one, and there's little tiny baby, another little tiny baby, well, a couple. There's the main guy. So we'll take these. Like I said, there might have been one on this side that I just destroyed, because I don't see it now. We'll go to the other rain barrel, grab some more. And I already have a bucket that I've pulled some up when I should have in the spring, and they've just been sitting in my shed. So this is a bucket of Ranunculus that I pulled up this spring, early summer. Add to it. So Again, these have started to sprout on me. Let's see if we can just get them pulled up. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Looks like. And then there's another one back in here. Yeah, it's unfortunate they started to root again because I don't think that's probably a good thing. Let's see if there's one on this side. This one was starting to root too. It just hadn't sent sprouts up. I don't know if you can see that little corm in there. So, take those. Put them into the bucket with the rest. So I have one canna in here. I don't know, this spring I just wasn't feeling the cannas, so I didn't really. Oh, and a potato. Oh, did I have potatoes planted in here? I don't remember planting potatoes in here, but there's definitely a potato. Do you think I possibly had a potato fly from the bed across from this one and into this bed when I was harvesting? Isn't that strange? It doesn't look chewed on or anything, so I don't think a critter brought it over here. That's odd. Okay, so I planted one canna here anyways. I've been leaving a lot of them in the ground over winter lately because they're just, I don't know, they're not exciting me anymore. I think I need to get some new varieties. But I have been saving this for so long and they multiply so much that I just threw this one in the garden here. I have some planted at another place that I do some planting for because they're easy, no fuss plants as long as they're getting sun and water. But yeah, I just have this one, I'm pretty sure, in my yard, and I put it in the garden here. The hummingbirds love them, so I'm just getting tired of them now. This little trowel might not be enough. This rhizome has just gone crazy in here. I might need to get a digging fork. It's just incredible how big and how far a canna will grow if given the space. They definitely don't overwinter in the ground here. I'm just trying to break the roots out. So I wound up breaking this piece off of that other piece, but this is all new growth from this year. Isn't that crazy? And then I have this here. Get some of the soil off of it. Oops, I just broke that one too, I think. I was just trying to show you how much they grow in a season, because, okay, I think this should give you a better look. So this is what I pulled out of the ground, and there's this big chunk here, and you can see how white it is. That's all new growth. And then over here, this chunk here, where it's not dirty, is all white as well. That's all new growth. You see that? And it was mostly broken off, so I just broke it the rest of the way. And now this piece, you can see how dark it is. That's the old piece. That's the original piece that I put in, plus a little bit of new growth coming up on the edges. See there, that's more white there. That's new growth. This dark stuff is the old stuff. So this is what I started with. It was this little chunk, like the size of a finger or two. And I wound up with all of this. And that's in a not ideal Canna climate. Could you imagine if you left these in ground somewhere where they are happy to grow all year long and not have to be dug up and moved around? I could see why some people don't like to have cannas in their yard. But that's why I say you have to be careful if you're going to overwinter them. You can overwinter them in pots, but they grow fast. And like, I can take my pots inside. I guess I should clarify that. I can take them inside in the winter with the Canna rhizomes in them and just store them in a cool, dark place. Just give them a little bit of water once in a while. But you have to be careful that your Canna doesn't break the pot, because if it's growing like this, imagine the pressure it can put on a pot. They're huge, huge plants. Right kind of kitty corner from where that Canna was are these Crocosmia. These are sun something, I think they are. I'll have to look it up. It's not very clear on here anymore. So, and some weeds. Get those out of here. Okay. So there's the Crocosmia corms. So I'm just going to pick them all up and put them in one of these pots to cut back and deal with later, but at least they'll be out of the ground and then keep them from freezing. Sun gold, is that what they're called? I can't remember. These little seed heads, you see that? Where the flower was and the seed head. You cut these back and you can kind of peel the leaves off, and they make a really pretty addition to a fall bouquet. I have a better example of them over here. I'll show you in a minute. So here, do you see that seed stalk there? Those look just so pretty in a fall bouquet. Sun Glow. Here, this tag is still readable. So that's the variety, Sun Glow. Okay, I think I got them all. Make those beans be. So over here, I have Amaryllis and Emily Mackenzie, I believe they're called, Crocosmia. So, and of course a lot of zinnias. So let me try and get these Crocosmia out, and the Amaryllis need to come out. The zinnias can stay. And I have had a lot of vole action in this bed, so if you see this trap here, that's why it's here. They're really handy little traps though. I touch that little thing, so there's a little bait station in the middle. The pest needs to step on this to get to that bait, and all you have to do is do that to set the trap. And they go in there. It's very strong. Set it off, and then they've got that little thing in there. All you have to do is pull this to get rid of your trapped creature, so you don't even have to touch the creature and deal with any of that. And then really easy to just reset again. I just can't say enough. I'm so happy with these traps, and they work well. They've caught a few already, but I've had to have my garden fenced off a little bit so that the dog can't get in here, because I don't want him getting in the traps. Is this the tag for the Amaryllis? Yeah. Okay. So I'm pretty sure the voles have snacked on the tops of these. See how they're kind of chewed off there? I'm going to take this Amaryllis because I think its roots are part of what's causing me trouble here. If I can get it out. Oh my. Wow. This is the first year I've planted Amaryllis in the ground in the summer, instead of just leaving it in some pots outside. And one of the first years I've remembered to grab them before they got a touch of frost. That's a nice Amaryllis. A big baby on the side. This is Prancer. Now, I get to the rest of the Crocosmia. Well, I'm happy that I'm getting corms and tubers and things out of here so far, because that trap is sitting there because that's an entrance hole that I could see where voles were moving through my garden and coming up out of the ground. So I was a little worried that they had eaten everything off, but the tops looked healthy, so I was hopeful. And it looks like, other than eating some of the tops, they haven't been damaging the roots yet anyways. I guess the beets that were in this bed were tastier because they ate those up. Okay, so that looks like all my Emily Mackenzie. I'm going to try and get the rest of the Amaryllis out of here. Hopefully I don't run into any nests of voles, because I really don't want to. This Amaryllis is huge. this one is also Prancer. And I'm kind of wondering, I had a bunch of little Prancer babies for Amaryllis. And this is in kind of like a clump of a bunch of little guys. So I think that's what these were. It was just all the little babies planted together. You know, you think when you plant things, you remember it all, and maybe some people do, but I don't remember everything I do out here. Trying to get as much dirt off of these as I can to leave behind. Okay, so that's more Prancer. What did I do with that tag? Here we go. Prancer. And you know, I'm wondering if that was actually an entrance hole or if that's where a beet was, because I didn't see a tunnel down there really. So maybe that was just where a beet was. But they've definitely been in this bed. I think I'll just leave this in here for now. Here's a tag for... So I think to access the rest, there's some more Emily Mackenzie Crocosmia and more Amaryllis on the other side of this bed. So I think I'm going to go over there and grab those out. And then this bed will be empty of those summer bulbs that I had in here. Okay, so you probably can't really see me, but I'm just going to get these dug out. And maybe. There's another one. Okay. Larva. I think I saw the tag for this guy because I didn't even realize it was still in here. Another Amaryllis. Another Prancer. Okay, so I got three more Amaryllis bulbs and a whole bunch of Crocosmia. doing a good job here. So I need to put, I had a trellis here just trying to keep the dog from getting into that area of the bed there. So I'm going to put that back in and get my things gathered up, and we'll have a look at some of the dahlias, and I'll let you know my plan for that. I think I still have ranunculus in these pots by my greenhouse. Yeah, and they're sprouting too. Darn. Ranunculus. 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 3 more, and I have another pot just like this. I'm sure I have 3 more in there. That's one. All right, a few more. Okay, well, it's obviously the next day. I was going through my footage, and I guess I don't have any sound for this final clip of the video, so I thought we should do it again so you know what I'm saying. So I just wanted to show you, I was pretty happy with everything that got pulled out of the ground yesterday. I managed to get these couple of tuberous begonias, which have nice big tubers on them. And I have my Amaryllis, my Ranunculus, my Crocosmia. Is that everything I got out now? I think so. And then I pulled these Gladiolus up the other day. I still have Acidanthera in pots that I need to pull, but they're still flowering and looking beautiful, so I'm going to leave them. Oh, and I have that Canna I pulled up. And I also have Dahlias in pots and in the ground, but my Dahlias just haven't been performing well the last few years, and I'm just not getting the same enjoyment out of them. So I think I'll take a couple of the pots that still have Dahlias planted in them, and I'll just take those indoors once it gets too cold for them to be outside. I'll take them in to the storage space I have. I can have it in an area with an east-facing window, and it doesn't get it's not really heated in that area, so I can have it in there, and they'll get a little bit of light. They will naturally die back. I did this last year, so I know it'll work. They'll naturally die back, and I can just cut off all the foliage, and then I will just give them a little bit of water every couple of months, and just like half a cup to a cup of water, and that should keep them going through the winter, and then I can pull them out into some more brighter light and warmth in the late winter, and they'll come back for me. And I think the plants that are in the ground I'll just leave. I think the majority of my dahlias going forward are going to be grown from seed, possibly for the next few years. I was really happy with the dahlias I grew from seed this year, and I think that's just what I'm going to do instead of saving tubers and mucking around with them when I'm not getting the same enjoyment out of them. I'll just start some from seed. But otherwise, I pulled all of the summer flowering bulbs, tubers, corms out of the ground. And what I'm going to do now is, you can see how the Gladiolus have started to brown back. And I'll wait till they get a little crispier, crunchier, and then I'll just be taking the tops off. The tops often will just kind of pop off of a Gladiolus corm. And it's the same thing for the Crocosmia and the Acidanthera, same way. If they don't just pop off, then I can just cut them and trim them. I'll be also waiting for any of the Ranunculus that were sprouting again to kind of dry back, trimming all the extra roots and leaves and things off of those. And all of the Crocosmia, Gladiolus, Acidanthera, and Ranunculus just get stored in mesh bags in a cool, dark space over the winter. They don't need any extra care other than that. And the begonias and cannas will get stored. I'll wait again for the leaves and that to dry back. The reason you do that is to let any energy that's in those leaves, it'll go down into the tuber or corm or whatever it is and give energy to that plant that way. And then you can cut off the tops. You don't want to have any leftover leaf or root material, because that can just add to possibility of rot. So I just cut all the extras off. And the dahlias, which I'm going to store differently this year, but normally I would take my dahlias or my cannas or my begonias and I just layer them in slightly damp vermiculite in buckets or boxes and in a cool, dark place. So again, like around 10 Celsius works well for what I usually store most of these things at, and that usually does well for me in my climate. If you have a damper climate or a drier climate, you might need to find a different kind of container, or some people find they need to wrap their tubers and things in plastic wrap to help hold moisture and not in. But I find just storing them in just a slightly damp vermiculite works well. The Amaryllis I will let yellow and die back. I'll cut the leaves off and then I'll just put them just in my basement somewhere cool and dark and just let them sit for a couple of months, and then I'll be pulling those back out, planting them up inside and enjoying their blooms over the winter. That's how most people enjoy Amaryllis here in my part of the world. So that's my plan for all of these corms and tubers and bulbs and things. But what I do need to do, which I forgot to do, was take these begonias that I pulled up that don't seem to have tubers on the bottom, and we'll see. They might have just been grown. I'm sure these are tuberous type of begonias. So I think they were just grown from cuttings and I bought them late in the season. Maybe they just haven't developed a good tuber on the bottom yet. So I think I'm going to take them inside. I'm going to pot them up and just grow them inside and see what they do in there over the winter and see if they might develop a corm or if they're just going to die back. I'm not sure. So I'll inspect them really good for bugs. I'll give them a little bit of a spray for bugs before I take them in, and have them potted up. And I'll just put them under grow lights in the house and we'll see what happens with them, and I'll let you know later on, I guess. But the rest of these will just stay, as long as it's staying above freezing, I'll just keep them in my shed and they can just kind of naturally die back and they won't get too much sunshine on them, drying out the roots too bad. And if we're gonna freeze, I'll bring them into the garage just so they don't freeze solid, because the roots can't handle that, the corms and tubers and that. And then once they're ready and dried back, I'll cut them all down to their root storage system there and package them up however they need to be, like I just said, and put them away for the winter. So I will put links down below for videos that give you a little bit more in-depth detail, like more detail on how to store these plants for the winter if you need that. But this was just what I was doing the other day and I thought I'd film it and just kind of let you see the process and how I went through it. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.